Hey, horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of All My Friends Are Dead. Holy shit. um, Cast and crew information down below. And let's start off with the IMDb plot before anybody else dies. During the New Year's Eve party of a bunch of friends, a series of crazy events brings out secrets, breaks hearts, and leads to a shocking ending. Alright, fun stuff here. So yeah, all my friends are dead here. Not a good thing. A good thing if you're watching horror-wise. Not a good thing if all your friends are dead. Well, depends. Maybe you don't like your friends, so I don't know why they're your friends anyway. But friends stab you in the back, and we see that all the time in movies. So whatever. So, what is happening in this one? First, this is a Netflix film, or film found on Netflix, and another one that I'm, just kind of surfing through, and I saw that title. I was, oh, okay, let's see what this one's all about, and let you know that this is I guess, a Polish film made in Poland. So it is dubbed. So you do have to deal with that. So that's not always for everybody. Um, as far as that's concerned, it's okay. I guess it's hard to know. If they're doing a good job translating or not. Uh, it does have some cheesy lines in it here or there. And I don't know if that's the dubbing or that was what was actually written, or what is happening here. So there were some cheesy moments, which seems to happen a lot when you get in these translations. But besides that, it's not bad. You do have well, I'll talk about the characters here in a second. But yeah, so that's kind of the setup as far as Netflix and what we're going here. Um, so basically, here you have a bunch of friends that they just said it's New Year's Eve. So they're having basically a house party here going on, and as the film kind of opens, you kind of get the way of the land here, of introductions of different characters here, different groupings of characters. Um, you have I guess it doesn't start off like that, but I guess it ends, or as the movie goes on, you kind of, it does bounce from different groupings to so forth. But I think at the end, you do end up with it kind of tailored more towards this one girl, and not really at the beginning. But she's a young girl who, I guess, is into the stars, into horoscopes, and that kind of thing, and believing in things are meant to happen, and this and that. Um, it, when things kind of spin out of control, it kind of starts with her. But I'll get to that in a second. But her and this guy that she meets at the party is kind of one grouping, and she does have a boyfriend here, which doesn't really get too involved here. You have another couple which has an age difference. The guy is younger, the woman is older. As they kind of bounce around here in the house, you kind of see them um, have a disagreement about this. Not sure where the relationship can go because of this age difference. That's an issue between them while the party's going on. Um, kind of makes him insecure, but she just she's kind of more realistic of it and just kind of enjoying being at the party, being around younger people, where he is kind of thinking more long term, and wanting her to be with him long term. Um, there is another couple um, where you think the story kind of starts, and the guy is probably scored a girl that's maybe how do you say above his average, or what I guess hotter than you would have think for him, and it all seems to be doing good. and all well. And his sister's also at this party, and his sister actually has a conversation with her in private. And you find out from her point of view that it's not all good, mostly because of what's going on in the bedroom. So you kind of have that going on, and then that kind of leads to funny events later on in the movie. But the boy is obviously, um, he's fallen heads over heels for her, I guess, and love, where, and he's kind of coming from that standpoint where she's happy but not as happy, and then that leads to a very very funny scene later in the movie. It starts kind of crazy, but then becomes kind of funny. You have let's see, there's a set of, they look like twins. I don't know if they're officially twins or not. They might be twins or not. They're very close friends that look very similar, and they're a little slutty, and they kind of bounce around in here, kind of jumping from different guys to different guys, looking for whatever, I guess, hook 'em they can try to get. And one of the guys they stumble upon is the guy who, and how he ended the party. He kind of has regrets here. He's not really a priest. I guess he's a practicing. I guess he's, I don't know the right term for it, but he's French, and I guess he's religious, and he really shouldn't be at this kind of party, but he somehow found himself there. And I guess the funny thing with his character is, as he starts to be doing things that he shouldn't be doing, he kind of sees a picture of God in the distance there, and God is, or I should say Jesus, and Jesus is kind of in his image, and kind of talking to him and saying, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this, and so forth, as he proceeds to do things he shouldn't be doing. So that's kind of a funny thing going on there. Let's see. Oh, and there's two other guys here, who I guess you can call them more nerds, or more not the cool kids, I guess you could say. And I guess they have some notion in their heads that they are good at hitting on girls or whatever, and they'll just go up to random girls and start dancing with them and blah blah, and they end up in a funny situation with the woman who I mentioned a minute ago was, I guess, too old for her boyfriend. So they end up in a funny situation with her, in a room, and she completely is taking advantage of their stupidity. But that's a funny scene there. So to kind of know, that's kind of set up here. There are some other characters here and there that you're going to meet along the line, but like I said, that's the kind of different groupings here, and it kind of bounces around, and it is a certain guy's house, and he plays a role, obviously. And there's a pizza guy, delivery guy, who also gets involved, basically because the guy whose house it is, he kind of takes in the pizza, doesn't really pay him, then the pizza guy ends up in the house and starts looking for him, and two different events happen with these two characters. So you have all kinds of different stuff going on here, and this movie is listed as comedy, crime, and drama on IMDb first and foremost. So which was a little disappointing, because when you see All My Friends Are Dead, you're thinking horror movie. Could have been the title of a horror movie, Out in the Woods, where we kill a bunch of people again, very easily. But we're here in another familiar setting, a house, and so you have all these different groups of people here, and the party's going on, different things are happening, they're interacting with each other, and that's kind of the setup you're going to get through the first half of the movie, or say, or maybe 2/3. You're going to get the introduction, you're going to get these characters, some of them start mixing with other ones, some of them kind of stick to where they are, and like I said, the fun doesn't really start until this girl that likes the horoscopes and so forth, starts talking to this guy, and it seems like he's hitting it off on all the cues, and to her, she just can't resist, because he's saying all the right things and blah blah, and she thinks it's like aligned in the stars and whatever, blah blah. So they hit it off. They're in a room in this house here, and as they're going through that, they find a gun. They start messing with the gun, and as they're messing with the gun, they continue to talk. And like I said, they're hitting it off. And before you know it, they're having sex, but they're also playing with a gun. And let's just say, while they're getting excited, there's too much excitement happens, and they fire off the gun. The gun in turn kills somebody. This is, and don't worry, this is not major spoiler stuff here. And this is, I'll kind of stop when the major spoiler stuff starts here. But so they're like, holy shit, what is happening? They go over, they don't really do a full check, but they're kind of like stunned by what's happened. And then this is where things just kind of spin out of control here. You have, like I said, you have different groupings of people, different things happening. Eventually, they start to drag this guy off to another room, and then they're trying to hide him from other people. Then other people find out. Someone else finds the gun, and people start hating on other people. Like they say, friends. Some people are friends, but then, like I said, there's the one couple where the guy really loves the girl, but the girl's not so sure. There's a huge scene with them that kind of sets things off for them. There's these two twin girls that are, like I said, they're going around. One of them ends up with a gun. That kind of starts things. Just things start unfolding wildly. And I guess, you're going to get comedy throughout this whole movie. And I would say, first and foremost, this is a comedy. This is not, the horror is not going to come until much later. Like it says, when it really hits the title, when things really spin out of control. It is really fun to watch. It is worth the watch. Like I said, you're going to have to go through a lot here. You're going to have to go through a lot of the character setup, a lot of the character interaction, and so forth. You're going to have to watch, some of the characters start turning on each other, turning on, other groups of friends, or even turning on the ones that you see them with. And then things will spin out of control, and then the true horror of the movie happens. And that's where I kind of break it off, and then just not give you the spoilers of what happens here. But let's just say it's just a crazy thing, crazy final act here that happens. It's really enjoyable to watch, especially if you're a horror fan and so forth. So the fireworks happen, fun stuff, and I guess what credits this movie is that I should say that it kind of starts off as a police investigation. In the very beginning of the movie, you have the police come in and they start going through and seeing this house and the leftovers of what happened at night, and then the audience gets to see the night unfold, and then the way the movie ends with again, I'm going to keep this spoiler free, kind of a surprise for you. But yeah, I'm not going to say too much about it, but let's just say, you have the final act, you have what you'd expect. Like I said, from a horror standpoint, that might kind of spoil things, but again, I think, once you're watching this movie, you're going to know where this is going to go. And then you get a surprise final, I guess, sequence, as you see how things kind of turn out. And I guess that kind of adds a little bit of a different touch here to this movie, because it could have just ended up with the police and that was it, but they kind of draw it back to and take it to another place, which kind of is good for the characters, and still can they add some more pieces of comedy in here. So while not a true horror movie, I've kind of gone through this, I guess it seems like a few times recently where I found these movies that are not horror movies, and there's probably going to be another review or two that I'm going to be doing close to this one. That there's not per se horror movies, but are of the horror element. This one's not horror first and foremost. You're going to have to wait till the final act to get to the true horror here. A lot of good stuff happens here. It's a good comedy. it's obviously, you can tell the influence that this is an overseas film because they play a lot of like kind of 80s music here. It does have a good soundtrack here if you kind of want to go back to that time and enjoy that kind of music. They throw that in a lot, so you're gonna kind of see that. So yeah, fun movie overall. Not horror movie as you might have thought, or as I thought when I saw the title and kind of turned this on. But I still enjoyed it overall, so I'm gonna give it 3 pools of blood. I had fun with it. It was a fun movie, good comedy. Not everything's perfect. It's hard to judge the acting because they're really speaking another language and it's just being dubbed. But I think overall they create a lot of interesting characters and combine the characters and do some outrageous things with them. So a fun time overall. Whether you want to call it horror or you just want to watch it because it's a movie, I think it's definitely worth a watch. So if you're flipping through Netflix and you see this title, throw it on, see what you think. So I'm going to give it 3 pools of blood, and we'll wrap this up. As usual, saying you can find more of these reviews obviously on this channel, more of these video reviews. Subscribe if you're liking them, and if you're looking for some written reviews, horrorscorereviews.blogspot.com. That's down below as well, is where you can find these video reviews and also many written reviews, and Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. Reach out to me there. If you have a movie that you want to talk about, a movie that you want me to review, we can talk about it there. If you want to talk horror, always welcome to join a conversation about horror anytime. And with that, I guess I will leave since all the friends are dead, and find the next review to turn on here. So I'll catch you later, horror fans.